Welcome back! This is the second of a 3-video series on the Sales Management Code. In this video, we will highlight the important decisions your manager is making to support your continued sales success. As you may recall, the Sales Management Code has 3 elements that combine to form a whole. Let's explore each component of the code, starting with the first one, alignment. Your manager may refer to alignment using the acronym ROA. R represents results, O represents objectives, and A represents activities. Before we apply these to your sales job, let me share a quick example to illustrate how these 3 concepts work together. Perhaps at some point in your life you have considered your health and want to improve or change it in some way. Many of us have, so let's use that for this example. The R, or result in this case, would be health, or maybe improved health. Now, if I asked you how you plan to achieve your result, improved health, you'd likely say some combination of eating less and moving more. So let's say you ate less sugar and walked more each day. Would you achieve better health? Maybe, maybe not. Eating less and moving more are activities, the A of ROA. They are what we do to achieve the R, or result. It's tempting and common to jump right from results to activities. Yet by doing so, we often reduce or delay our ability to achieve the results we want. That is why clear objectives are important. They are the paths to your results that narrow the choices and act as guideposts along the way. So, if improved health for me means better quality sleep, I might choose to replace caffeinated drinks with non-caffeinated, or turn off all screens after 7 p.m. If I wanted to lower my cholesterol, those same activities likely won't get me there. The activities must directly relate to the objective in order to achieve the desired results. So, back to sales. Results are what you want to achieve, your destination. Everyone at every level of the organization has some result they're trying to achieve. CEOs have revenue targets and market share results. As a sales professional, your result is most likely your quota, budget, or sales target. It's this result, your revenue target, that your sales manager uses when applying the Sales Management Code. Understandably, results get a lot of attention, and they should. Yet, results cannot be managed. They are a lagging indicator of prior effort. For a sales team, results provide valuable information for direction setting and strategy, but they do not guide day-to-day behavior. That brings us to objectives, the O of the ROA framework. If you think about it, you'd realize there are many paths to get to your quota. You can grow business with your existing customers, you can add new customers, you can sell a specific product or service, or target a certain segment of your market or territory, just to name a few. Objectives are often a missing link. All too often, salespeople are given results and then expected to take action. When seller actions don't yield the hoped-for results, many managers press the more button. They ask their sellers to work harder, make more calls, book more appointments. The opposite situation can cause problems as well. Some organizations have so many objectives or KPIs that it can be overwhelming and confusing. The challenge here is sorting through the many to find the ones that are most relevant. In the workshop, your manager will choose the sales objectives that are the best path to quota attainment for their sales team. If they manage more than one type of sales position or role, they will identify unique objectives for each one. You may be wondering why we ask your manager to choose objectives for each sales role and not each salesperson. We do this for consistency and efficiency. The average sales team is 8 sellers, but typically 1 or 2 sales roles. These roles, such as a territory representative or account executive, have similar responsibilities in terms of what type of business or customers to pursue. So it makes sense to create a common code for the role and then modify it for an individual seller as needed. As I've mentioned, results can't be managed directly. They are lagging indicators of performance, meaning that it takes a while to see if your actions have had impact. Objectives are leading indicators of performance. They can't be managed directly either, but the impact of your actions is more directly correlated to them. That brings us to activities, the A of ROA and the cornerstone of the Sales Management Code framework. Activities are the only thing that can be directly managed by you and your manager. This was perhaps the most important conclusion from Vantage Point's research study. Activities describe all the actual things you do to find and win business. You may recall that high-impact activities are those that, if done consistently well, are most likely to have a significant impact on success. Note that I did not say high-importance activities or high-priority activities. Any and all of your sales activities can be highly important or a top priority depending on the day and on the situation. High-impact activities are the ones that are most directly related to the achievement of your specific sales objectives and ultimately, quota attainment. When done consistently well over time, high-impact activities make the difference between good and great. The primary goal of the Sales Management Code is to get you and your manager focused on those activities that have optimal impact on your sales results. This is not about micromanagement. It's about smarter management. As you might imagine, many factors go into choosing which activities have the highest impact. What do you think some of those factors are? Was your first thought results and objectives? Exactly. Managers first need to consider which activities will most directly accomplish the chosen objectives and desired results. If, for example, the objective chosen is ultimately about finding new opportunities, then your high-impact activity would be somehow related to that goal, like networking or obtaining referrals. There needs to be a clear alignment. The seller's primary role will also influence which activities will have the greatest impact. An inside sales representative will have different high-impact activities than an account manager, even for the same or similar objectives. High-impact activities are the cornerstone of the Sales Management Code. Fortunately, there are ways to reinforce high-impact activities so they create a solid foundation for you and your sales manager. Let's explore another example. Imagine you told your teenager to sweep out the garage. Would you get a well-swept garage? You might get a garage with the open areas swept, but did they move the bicycles and sweep around them? It's a safe bet that your vision of a swept garage and your teenagers are quite different. The same holds true for sales activities. They can be interpreted differently by different people. That is why establishing standards is so important. Standards specify how much, how often, and how well an activity needs to be done. They help ensure clarity between you and your manager. Standards typically fall into two categories: quantitative and qualitative. Quantitative standards define how frequently an activity should be done or by when. Quantitative measures are concrete and easily counted. Think number of prospecting calls made per week or proposals submitted. Qualitative standards typically describe what good looks like. They clarify how well an activity should be done and to what degree. For example, the type of information needed to consider an opportunity qualified, or how to best conduct a sales conversation. As they develop their code, your manager will make alignment decisions by identifying the one or two objectives most directly related to you achieving quota, and then selecting the one or two activities that are most relevant to each objective. Taken together, the alignment decisions, results, objectives, activities, and their standards eliminate ambiguity, indecision, and confusion. The second component of the Sales Management Code creates clarity for the sales manager. Clarity on how they can best support your execution of the high-impact activities. This is captured by the acronym ARC, which refers to the execution of activities in a rhythm of coaching conversations. Having structured, repeatable coaching conversations is a powerful way to ensure that the interactions between you and your manager are valuable to you. The structure increases the likelihood of the conversation happening, eliminates confusion about expectations, and focuses the conversation on the intended outcomes. In short, structure makes you and your selling the focus of the coaching. Your manager will develop a coaching plan for each high-impact sales activity, detailing what when, and how they will coach you on that activity. Your manager will determine the what by closely considering the activity that will be coached to determine three things: what preparation is needed, which we call inputs, what the agenda will be, and what will be accomplished, which we call the outputs. This level of planning ensures both you and your manager are prepared to have productive and valuable coaching conversations. Now let's turn our attention to the question of when to coach. It's always a tricky question. Do you know a sales manager or salesperson looking to add more things to their calendar? Probably not. Yet, coaching is critical, particularly coaching the activities identified as high impact. And not just occasional coaching, but ongoing, repeated, anticipated coaching, part of a management rhythm. Management rhythm describes all the repeated, scheduled interactions managers have with salespeople. Think team meetings, one-on-ones, quarterly reviews, and the like. Coaching of high-impact activities needs to be one of those repeated interactions. It is the heartbeat of your manager's rhythm. The nature of the sales activity being coached, the length of your sales cycle, and other team characteristics drive the specific rhythm that is selected. A high-impact activity that happens several times a week, like prospecting or lead generating, will have a faster coaching rhythm. One that happens quarterly, like updating account plans, will have a slower one. Finally, the Sales Management Code provides a flexible framework designed to engage you in the coaching conversation. Having a clear, easy-to-follow model, such as this one, is another way structure encourages a valuable and collaborative coaching conversation. Chances are this conversation model looks very similar to how you manage a sales call. The final component of the Sales Management Code answers a very important question. Is it working? Are the high-impact activities that you are executing and your manager is coaching having the anticipated impact? More specifically, are the targeted sales objectives showing any positive movement? If they are, great. You are likely on the right track. If they're not, you and your manager will reassess each decision given the current sales environment and adjust as needed. That is the Sales Management Code. It is not a set plan. It is instead a flexible and adaptable operating system that will be refined and updated as circumstances change. Like a computer code, it will require occasional updates to ensure it is current. In the next segment, we'll focus on what role you play as your manager brings the Sales Management Code to your team. Want to learn more in the meantime? Visit VantagePointPerformance.com. Thanks for your attention.